A young man named Paul lived in a small village called Green Valley. He was only 21 years old, but life had placed a big responsibility on his shoulders. When Paul was just 5, he lost both of his parents. Since then, he had to grow up faster than most kids. He took care of his elder sister Mary, who was preparing for her wedding, and his younger brother Michael, who still went to school every day. Paul's mornings began before sunrise. He would head to the market, buy the freshest vegetables, and load them into his handcart. He knew the villagers loved fresh, healthy food, so he always chose the very best. During the day, Paul walked through the streets, calling out fresh green vegetables for sale. Everyone in the village recognized his cheerful voice. People trusted him, not just because of his vegetables, but because of his honesty and warm smile. In the evenings, Paul set up his small cart in the local market. Many villagers stopped by after work. They didn't mind paying a little extra because they knew Paul's produce was fresh and his service came with kindness. Despite 2 other sellers, Mr. Smith and Mrs. Brown, working in the same market, people still preferred Paul. This made the other sellers jealous. "How does he do it?" Mr. Smith would grumble. "His vegetables are overpriced, yet everyone buys from him." Mrs. Brown nodded bitterly. "It's not fair. We work just as hard, but no one notices us." One day, the two decided to follow Paul secretly. They wanted to know his secret. They saw how he greeted each customer with genuine warmth, asked about their families, and made sure everyone left happy. The more they watched, the more jealous they grew. They tried copying his smile, his loud calls, but it didn't work. The villagers could sense the difference. Around this time, Paul noticed something else. Every evening, an old woman passed by his cart. She always asked about the prices, but never bought anything. 2:28. Curious Paul gently asked her one day, "Ma'am, I often see you stop by, but you never buy vegetables. May I ask why?" The woman's eyes filled with sadness. "Young man, your vegetables are the best in the village, but I live alone. I survive by begging, and I simply can't afford them." Paul's heart softened. "From now on, come to me before I close. I'll give you fresh vegetables for free. It would make me happy." At first, she resisted. "I don't want charity." But Paul insisted, "Please. I sell only fresh ones every day. It helps me too." Touched, the old woman, whose name was Mrs. Johnson, agreed. From then on, every evening, Paul handed her a bag of vegetables with a warm smile. But Mr. Smith and Mrs. Brown saw this too. Instead of being inspired, they grew angrier. "Now he's winning people's hearts with free food," Mrs. Brown hissed. Their jealousy boiled into hatred. One dark evening, as Paul walked home alone with his empty cart, they ambushed him on a deserted road. "So, Paul," sneered Mr. Smith, "you think you're better than us? Selling overpriced vegetables? Giving them away for free? It's time we teach you a lesson." Paul froze, his heart racing. "What do you want from me?" "We want you to leave this village," Mrs. Brown snapped. Just then, fate intervened. Mrs. Johnson happened to be passing by. She saw Paul surrounded and immediately shouted, "Help! Somebody help! Save him!" Her cries echoed through the night. Panicked, Mr. Smith and Mrs. Brown exchanged fearful looks and ran away into the darkness. Paul collapsed in relief. Mrs. Johnson rushed to him. "Are you all right, dear boy?" Paul nodded, trembling. "You saved me. Thank you." She smiled gently. "You've been kind to me, Paul. How could I not help you?" That night, as Paul walked her back to his home, he realized something. He couldn't let her live alone anymore. "Ma'am," he said, "you've become like family to me. Please, come live with us. My sister, my brother, and we'd be honored." Mrs. Johnson's eyes welled up. "Paul, that's kind, but I don't want to be a burden." "You'll never be a burden," Paul insisted. "We'd love to have you." Finally, with a soft smile, she agreed. That evening, Paul introduced her to Mary and Michael. At first, they were shy, but soon they warmed up to her kindness. In the days that followed, Mrs. Johnson became part of their little family. She helped Mary with cooking and wedding plans. She told Michael stories from her childhood, guiding him with wisdom like a grandmother would. And for Paul, her presence lifted a heavy weight. For years, he had carried the burden of responsibility alone. Now, with Mrs. Johnson, he felt supported, like his parents were watching proudly from above. Their home, once quiet and heavy with responsibility, was now filled with laughter, warmth, and companionship. Sitting together one afternoon, Paul said, "Mrs. Johnson, you've brought peace and joy to our home. I'll always be grateful." She smiled, touching his hand. "Oh, Paul, you and your siblings have saved me. I never thought I'd find a family again." In that moment, Paul realized something powerful. Success isn't just about selling the freshest vegetables. It's about kindness, trust, and the love we share with others. From then on, the villagers didn't just see Paul as the best vegetable seller. They saw him as a young man who turned his struggles into strength, his pain into compassion, and his small cart into a symbol of hope for the whole village.